Issue 47. Every man for himself?
The order to abandon ship automatically presupposes two rules. Women and children go first, and the captain is the last to leave or goes down with his vessel. Romanticized by novels and films as well as history, the maxim seems to have almost the force of law. Thus, though all 571 people aboard the Greek cruise liner Oceanos survived its spectacular sinking off the coast of South Africa recently, the ship's captain, Ioannis Avranas, was widely castigated as being cowardly and irresponsible. Avranas, 51, left the Oceanos aboard a rescue helicopter while some 160 passengers, including several elderly and infirm, still awaited evacuation. He abdicated the hero's role to a South African entertainer who not only operated the shipboard radio and made certain everyone was safe, but also rescued Avranas' own dog and released the captain's pet canary from its cage before becoming one of the last to quit the sinking vessel. In reality, there is no law of the sea that requires the captain to remain with his ship to the end, and Avranas, backed by his employers, argued that with communications on board so bad, the evacuation was best directed from shore. But the captain's statements immediately after the disaster did not help his popular standing. "When I order abandon ship, it doesn't matter what time I leave," he said. "If some people want to stay longer, they can."
Comprehension. 1. What are the two conventional rules when a ship is to be abandoned? 2. What happened to the Greek cruise liner Oceanos? 3. What did the ship's captain do? 4. To whom did the captain give up his hero's role? 5. Is there a law that forces the captain to give up his life with his ship? 6. Did the employers criticize the captain? 7. What did he say when he tried to justify himself?
Let's talk. 1. Do you think the conventional rule that requires the captain to leave the ship last is fair? 2. Do you think Captain Avranas deserves criticism? 3. What would you do if you were the captain of a sinking ship? 4. Who should leave a sinking ship first? Why?
Opinion samples. 1. The traditional rules must be observed even if not enforced by law. That is the only hope for the people aboard if they are faced with an emergency. If it were nothing but empty rhetoric, no one would believe in the ship's safety or crew's morality. And no captain could maintain his authority in an emergency situation, which could result in even more casualties. Question: would you die with your sinking ship if you were a captain?
2. This is about a man's life, not a romantic feeling. No one can force a captain to do unnecessary brave actions and risk his life. If he performs his duties as required in an emergency, he should not be under any criticism. All lives are equally important. Question: if a captain enjoys the privileges of his position, shouldn't he also accept its responsibilities?
Issue 47. Every man for himself?
Unselfish cooperation is an amazing human attribute, don't you think?
As well as being rare.
It's not as unusual as you make out. Most people are more than willing to help out for the common good, even if they don't directly get anything out of it themselves.
That's what the hustlers want us to believe at any rate, But behind every unselfish act is a manipulator who benefits directly.
That's a little harsh, don't you think?
Harshness does not invalidate the truth, however. The billionaires who give vast sums to charity do it for tax benefits and good public relations. It validates their status as superior human beings, the same way that the old kings would dispense alms to the public. The more money you can afford to give away, why, clearly the more you have.
But what about the poor people who give away so much to help others? They don't benefit.
That's true, perhaps, but maybe the reason they're so poor is that they behave so foolishly. They don't give in a manner that helps themselves because they don't know any better.
You can't have it both ways, even if it's true that a lot of self-serving people only want the appearance of being generous. You can't dismiss the genuinely kind ones as being merely stupid. The fact is that they are trying to help their fellow sufferers, even at great cost to themselves.
But that is the very attitude that is so easily taken advantage of by the con men of this world. That's why there are so many phony charities and help the poor scams run by greedy extorters.
No, I accept your point. I agree that there are a lot of bad people in the world. But don't you see? You're trying to say they succeed in taking advantage of other people's generosity. There wouldn't be any generosity to take advantage of if everyone were like them.
Oh, I see what you mean. I guess you're right, logically, but that doesn't alter my original contention. I still say that there are no unselfish acts.
If I give all my money to the poor, or more wisely perhaps, give the poor everything I don't need directly, or if I give them anything at all, in fact, isn't that evidence of my unselfish generosity?
By no means. If you aren't interested in the tax break, or if you give anonymously so there's no public relations angle to it, I still say that you get something out of the transaction. Maybe giving relieves your sense of guilt. Maybe the reward you get is the feeling of generosity, so all you're really doing is feeding your ego gratification. But you wouldn't do it unless you got some benefit from it. We're not by nature altruistic animals, and in fact, if we were, we couldn't survive as a species. Every man for himself. That's the motto that made us what we are today, masters of the world.
Questions. 1. What are the obvious benefits of philanthropy? 2. What are the more subtle aspects of giving to charity? 3. Can you think of any truly unselfish acts? Share your thoughts with the class.